I look at it from that standpoint, and I say mad respect. Are there other players in the WNBA that are better? Yes. She has you transfixed on the entire league. That's why I brought up Michael Jordan and Larry Bird. That Caitlyn Clark should have been on the team ahead of the 12 people selected ahead of her because of basketball.
The WNBA has a problem. Their biggest star just left for Europe, and now ESPN is losing it. Caitlyn Clark's departure isn't just about losing a player, it's exposing deep issues in how the league treats its stars. Low salaries, lack of support, and physical toll are just the beginning. But here's the thing, there's a solution. Imagine a WNBA where players are paid what they're worth, protected on the court, and marketed like the stars they are. It's possible, and Clark's exit might be the wake-up call the league needs. We're about to break down the problems Clark faced, why ESPN is panicking, and how the WNBA can turn this disaster into an opportunity. Ready to see how we can fix women's basketball? Let's go! Alright, let's talk about Caitlyn Clark and the absolute whirlwind she brought to the WNBA. This rookie didn't just step onto the court, she exploded onto it. The moment Clark suited up, it was like someone flipped a switch on the entire league. Before Clark, the WNBA was struggling. Empty seats, low viewership, you name it. But then this Iowa sensation shows up, and boom. Suddenly arenas are packed to the rafters. TV ratings through the roof. It's like everyone and their grandmother wanted to see Clark play. Clark wasn't just filling seats, she was filling cash registers too. Merchandise was flying off the shelves faster than you could say triple-double. Her jersey sales? Off the charts. The league had never seen anything like it. Clark wasn't just a player, she was a one-woman economic stimulus package for the WNBA. The impact wasn't just on game days. Clark's presence was felt across the entire sports landscape. Social media was buzzing, sports talk shows couldn't stop talking about her, and even non-basketball fans were tuning in to see what all the fuss was about. Now imagine this, after all that excitement, all that buzz, Clark decides to bounce.
If you're going to break a record, to me, if it's legitimate, you have to break that record in the same amount of time that that player set.
When I think about Caitlyn Clark, the operative word that comes to my mind is gratitude. There's an incredible level of gratitude that should be accorded to this young lady with what she did for the sport. That Caitlyn Clark should have been on the team ahead of the 12 people selected ahead of her because of basketball.
She heads to Europe for a bit, and just like that, the WNBA's golden goose takes flight. What happens next? It's not pretty. Those packed arenas, they turn into ghost towns overnight. TV ratings, they're falling faster than a bad shot in crunch time. It's like someone pulled the plug on the entire league. The contrast is stark, and it's got everyone in the basketball world talking. So how much did Caitlyn Clark's European contract really shock ESPN? Let me tell you, they're losing it. They're watching their golden ticket walk away, and they can't handle it. It's not just about losing a star player. It's about losing viewers, losing ad revenue, losing everything they built up around Clark. While ESPN frets over lost revenue, they're missing the real story. Remember Clark's dazzling debut season? Behind the highlight reels and record-breaking performances lurked a darker truth. What pushed this rookie sensation to her breaking point? Let's rewind to Clark's first WNBA game. Everyone thought she'd dominate, right? She steps onto the court, confidence sky high, ready to show the world what she's got. And for a while, it's magic. She's scoring left and right, making plays like she's been in the league for years. But then, out of nowhere, bam, she gets hit hard, and that's just the beginning. Game after game, it's the same story. Clark's taking hits like she's got a target on her back. It's not just tough defense. We're talking about brutal physical play that goes way beyond the usual rough and tumble of pro basketball. The refs are just watching. It's like they forgot they have whistles. Now let's talk numbers because they're shocking. Clark faced 107% of the league's flagrant fouls. That's not a typo, 177%. It's like the rest of the league got together and said, hey, let's make sure Clark gets more than her fair share of hard hits. And it gets worse. A whopping 80% of those fouls, they came from one team. The Chicago Sky had it out for her big time. But it's not just about the numbers, it's about the toll it takes on a player, both physically and mentally. Clark's out there, game after game, getting hammered. And it's not like she's keeping quiet about it. She spoke up saying, "Yeah, I feel like I'm getting hammered and everybody is physical with me, and opponents get away with things that other people don't get away with." But did anyone listen? Did the league step in to protect its new star? Nope. Here's where it gets really frustrating. Clark's teammates, they're not exactly rushing to her defense. She's out there taking hit after hit, and it's like she's on an island. No backup, no protection, just Clark against the world, or at least against every team that decided she needed to be welcomed to the league. Remember that eye poke incident? Clark gets jabbed in the eye, a move that could seriously injure a player, and there's no foul call. Nothing. It's like the refs were watching a different game. And ESPN? The network that's supposed to be all over every big story in sports? They barely covered it. They didn't want to make waves, even when their biggest new star was getting roughed up on national TV. The eye poke was just the tip of the iceberg. While Clark was taking hit after hit on the court, ESPN seemed to be taking a nap in the broadcast booth. It's bizarre. Imagine having the most talked about player in years, and then, did I say, radio silence. What could make a media giant like ESPN suddenly lose its voice? Let's break this down. Clark's star power was off the charts. She was bringing in viewers like never before, smashing records left and right. You'd think ESPN would be all over her, right? Wrong. It's like they suddenly forgot how to use their cameras and microphones, and Clark's getting fouled constantly. It's not just rough play. We're talking flagrant fouls, dangerous moves, the whole 9 yards. And ESPN? Not a peep. Hello? ESPN, what game are you watching? Some players are actually celebrating these fouls. They're out there basically targeting Clark, and ESPN's cameras are just rolling. No commentary, no analysis, nothing. It's like they've decided to pretend it's not happening. Remember that eye poke incident we talked about? Yeah, that wasn't just a one-off thing. It was part of a pattern, and ESPN barely covered it. They were afraid to ruffle any feathers. Here's the thing, isn't that their job? To report on what's happening, especially when it involves the league's brightest new star? When Clark finally speaks up about the rough treatment, you'd expect ESPN to back her up, right? To give her a platform to investigate what's going on. Nope. They left her hanging. Did they suddenly forget how to do investigative journalism? So, did ESPN actually fail to support Clark when she needed it most? Let's be real. They didn't just fail. They didn't even show up to the test. They had this incredible opportunity to stand up for their biggest star, to shine a light on some serious issues in the league. And what did they do? They dropped the ball hard. Just when everyone thought the drama couldn't get any wilder, Clark dropped a bombshell that would make ESPN's missteps look like child's play. How could one decision by a rookie player potentially reshape the entire landscape of women's basketball? Picture this. Clark announces she's heading to Europe. The WNBA, they're in shock. ESPN, they're freaking out. It's like someone just flipped the script on the entire league. Europe's not just offering Clark a change of scenery. They're offering her something the WNBA couldn't. Better pay, better treatment, better everything. You won't believe the difference. In Europe, Clark's not just a player, she's royalty. We're talking about a league where players are treated like the stars they are. No more getting beaten up on the court without consequences. No more feeling undervalued or underpaid. In Europe, Clark's talent is recognized, respected, and rewarded. And other players are watching. They're seeing Clark make this move and they're thinking, why not me? It seems Clark just opened a door that everyone thought was locked. Suddenly, players who've been putting up with the WNBA's issues are seeing another option. An option that looks pretty darn good. This isn't just about one player anymore. It's about the future of women's basketball. Clark's move is forcing everyone to take a hard look at how things are done. The WNBA, they're scrambling. They're realizing that if they don't step up their game, they might lose more than just Clark. Is Clark's move to Europe a game changer for women's basketball? You bet it is. It's like she just hit a buzzer beater in the biggest game of her career. Only this time, the game isn't only a single match. It's the entire sport. Players are rethinking their options. Leagues are rethinking their strategies. And fans, they're watching it all unfold, wondering what's coming next. Alright, let's wrap this up. Caitlyn Clark's move to Europe isn't about one superstar player chasing a bigger paycheck. It's a wake-up call for the entire WNBA. The league's at a crossroads now, and they've got to make a choice. Step up their game or watch more stars follow Clark's lead. Imagine if the WNBA actually listened to their players, paid them what they're worth, and protected them on the court. We might see a whole new level of women's basketball. But if they don't, well, Europe's looking pretty good to a lot of players right now. So what happens next is up to the WNBA. But one thing's for sure, the game will never be the same. Clark just changed the rules, and now everyone's watching to see how the league responds. If you've watched this far, you probably like what you hear and see, so click the like button, subscribe, and let's hear your comments. Now let's go!